Hello everyone, Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com. Feeling under the weather today, so this will probably be a short video lesson, even though it should be longer because there's a lot going on in the market. And ever since October 10th, I've been completely unable to do anything right on any portfolio. Starting with long-term portfolio, we have Forever Holds long-term portfolio, and before the market sold off, lately in long-term portfolio, I've only taken profits in a couple of names. OKLO near the highs, and that was a prudent sell. APP near the highs, only 20% of each position. But I made a mistake, and I was going to sell 20% of PLTR ahead of earnings. And this basically started off basically just a mistake after mistake after mistake since 1010 in all portfolios. So that was the long-term portfolio mess up. And the quarterly portfolio, I added an education stock to that portfolio and it blew up. And that quarterly portfolio went from being 3x the SPY. We're now lagging the SPY for the quarter three portfolio. So the long-term portfolio, mistake with PLTR, but it's okay. It's a forever hold, and I'm sure PLTR will be at $500 soon enough. Quarterly portfolio is fine. We're reconstituting it here near the end of November, and we'll be good for the next quarter. And I'll make sure I don't ever add an education stock to the quarterly portfolio ever again. First time ever. Won't ever do it again. And it goes into the biotech list. Biotechs and education stocks, they're just too volatile and have a pattern of potentially having binary events that can cause them to gap down huge. So biotechs are already not welcome in the quarterly portfolio. We're going to add education stocks to that. And then when it comes to the swing position accounts, like I said, since 1010, I just haven't been able to do anything right. And it's basically been because of how wild this market's been. The one thing that we did do right is that we, short term, we expected the market pull back because the NAAIM got over 100. That has a track record of 16 for 16. Whenever it gets over 100, there's a market pullback. You can now make that 17 out of 17. But the NAAIM has come down to 90. The seen in fear greed index is at extreme fear. So with today's hammer candle reversal in the SPY off the 50, look at the volume. That looks good to me for a low. We'll be looking for a follow through day now, but I think it's a low. I think it's a bottom, and this market likes to make me look stupid recently. So we'll see if it holds, but this is a great signal. And what I really liked about today's session is that it happened on all the indexes. That same hammer candle is on the QQQ off the 50. That same hammer candle is on the IWM doing an undercut and rally of the recent lows. And that same hammer candle is on the DIA, basically just slightly above the 50 through the 21. So there are some good looking signs. And of course, with that hammer candle comes a ton of shakeouts, but there's a lot of good looking setups out there. I saw BK today. That looks solid. GD, hammer candle. Said G after its earnings. CRWD, hammer candle off the 21. NET, same thing. QS off the 21. WGS, ROK. CCJ, Pega, all of these awesome hammer candles. LYFT, hammer candle, a continuation. ETR off the 21, but as you can see, plenty of high quality names putting in great moves, but I'm having and then I saw Granny too. Granny, hammer candle right off the 50 SMA. So I'm seeing a lot of good moves, but swing position side, I tell you what, it's had me. And I went from a yellow flag condition on this market to red flag condition yesterday. We're immediately removing that and we're back to yellow flag conditions. And normally that means I don't go on margin, but something happened today that has me on full tilt. EOSE, after yesterday, had wonderful earnings. Sales growth is over 1,000%, and it's expected to continue in the upcoming quarters. I profiled this stock to members in the video lesson, and I spent a, a lot of time reviewing the stock, reviewing the fundamentals, reviewing the mutual fund ownership growth over the last 4 quarters. And I made it very clear there is no other stock in the stock market that looks like this stock. However, unbelievably, because the QQQ and SPY looked like it was ready to roll over on heavy volume, the red flag conditions were raised. So with this stock, EOSE, I needed everything to be in alignment. I got the pocket pivot point signal. I got the volume surge. I got a mini bop surge, as you can see below in the lower indicator that's green. And I got the bounce right off the 21 EMA. However, I didn't get a true hammer candle. This would have been a better hammer candle. So if I would have gotten that yesterday, I might have gone long. But whenever I looked at my telechart version 25 chart, the 5 EMA was below the 9 EMA. And I let everybody know I would like to see this one go sideways for a couple of days, possibly print either this candle or this candle, and then we'll get long. And or if we go sideways on lower volume, buy stop above the 1611 entry point. Bam, today. And because I didn't take it yesterday, I missed out on a it would have been around a 17% gain from the trigger price to entry. And now I'm forced to either chase it higher or wait for a better entry. So what I'm going to do following this move is that I have a couple other long signals on the quality side. I reviewed another name that has 100% sales growth in the upcoming next 3 quarters, with 60% sales growth in this most recent quarter and earnings, and they're actually positive earnings, positive cash flow. So that's going to be a new long position. And then I'll review other things that put me on tilt today. But there's also another recent earnings winner that used to have a high short float. That's also a long signal. I decided to pause the limit order today, and we'll actually go ahead and show you guys LC. So LC, this was the long signal. And of course, even with the 2% offset, it gapped up on me. This is what I mean. This market has me on full tilt. I'm on full tilt. I missed my limit order was 1779. My limit offset was 1815. The low day is 1819. I missed it by 4 cents. Then with the market coming down after this day, because now I move my limit order, I keep it live on the books at 1779 after it doesn't fill, and it comes down to 1790 but doesn't fill me. I now pause my limit order, and we get the hammer candle today. So I'm just going to attempt to get long LC. So some of my capital is going to LC, some of my capital is going to that one long position for members, and then I'll do EOSE. But I got to try to not full tilt chase this one. So what I'm going to do with EOSE is threefold. I'm going to split my order up on EOSE into 3. And by the way, with LC, with EOSE, and with that other stock, I'm under a yellow flag condition, so I'm not supposed to go on margin. But like I said, guys, I'm on full tilt. I'm all in. I'm using all of my buying power for these 3 names. So the earnings winner is going to get a third of all my buying power. LC will get a third, and EOSE will also get a third. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to be judicial about it and not be full FOMO chasing. I'm going to enter a market order for a third of EOSE. And wherever EOSE opens on Monday, a third will fill no matter what. Then I'm going to do a third with an 1835 buy stop. 2% limit offset. So 1835, 2%, what is that, about 40 cents? So about 1875 for the limit offset. And then I'm also just going to do a limit order at 1612, which would have been the buy stop had I taken the signal on the appropriate day. Guys, I spent 5 minutes at the end of the video lesson for members reviewing EOSE. And this is what I called EOSE with that sales growth with this chart. This is my number one top focus stock moving forward. That's what it did the very next day. So I'm going to go ahead and do a limit order at 1612, market order, and a buy stop above 1834. And all of these trades will have an initial attach good to cancel sell stop at 1315. So, or 1314, 1 cent below the low day of that base. So it's a bit aggressive for me under yellow flag conditions, but I really like this stock and I think I missed it. So that's what I'm going to do. Limit order 1612, market order a third, limit order 1612 on a third, and a buy stop at 1835 on another third. But EOSE, 1,000% sales growth, and that's expected to continue for the next few quarters. Mutual funds are buying the stock hand over fist, and it's expected to have an earnings turnaround and be profitable. I reviewed the market surge chart for members in yesterday's video. Please watch it if you have not. But this is an excellent stock. And so, I mean, when it comes to just making bad decisions, missing LC, EOSE, there's another stock I want to review for you, EBS. So EBS, after what I would consider a catalyst earnings event, nothing blowout, but the price move, the base breakout, it's great. Pulls back right to the 21, gives me a hammer candle. I get long the next day and it squats. So immediately I put half my sell stop below today's low day, the final stop below the recent lows. And of course, it shakes me completely out of it and gives me an add signal. So I'm going to go ahead and review this one with you guys. I'm going to buy this one in my secondary swing account. I have a speculative swing account and then I have a quality swing account. EOSC goes in the quality one, LC goes in the quality one, and then EBS all in the speculative account. I also have two other potential long positions, so it'll probably be, once again, 3 on the quality side, 3 on the spec side. A lot of long signals. You get 6 long signals in one day. That's a huge green flag to me, so that's why I'm going to do all the buying power. But this has been a tricky tape since 1010. Ultimately, just to make it very clear for everyone, long-term, secular bull. Intermediate term, bullish. Short term, expect a lot of chop. Wouldn't be surprised if I get chopped out of all these trades because that's normal right now. But if you're having a difficult time with this market, trust me, I am too.